What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk to you guys about a problem that we believe every single RVer has, whether you're full-time, whether you're a weekend camper, and that is trying to get an RV refrigerator to cool properly. We've had a problem with ours here recently. We're going to show you what we did to fix it. So for starters, when our unit was brand new, we always had an issue with our refrigerator cooling down properly. We would get real wide temperature fluctuations, and this is the type of refrigerator that runs on propane or electricity, pretty much a standard RV refrigerator. It's the Dometic RM1350 is the model. It always cooled down, but temperature swings big time. So through some research, while we were trying to figure out what we could do to kind of manage that a little better, get it to cool a little more consistently, what we found out through a Grand Design forum was that at a Grand Design rally, another customer was having a problem with their refrigerator having the same issue, wild temperature swings up and down, wouldn't stay consistent. So on the outside upper panel of your refrigerator, once you take that panel off, you're going to see a shroud across the top of the back of your refrigerator. What Grand Design did for this customer at that rally, and what they said they were starting to do with a lot of customers that had this issue, was remove that panel. There used to be a metal shroud that went all the way across here. You can see where I have already cut that out. Grand Design put a metal shroud in behind this upper panel. The theory was to blow air up on the coils, and that shroud would kind of force that air straight across the coils. Now some panels, depending on how old your unit is, maybe a wood panel up here. This one was metal, so I took 10 snips and I just cut that sucker out with 10 snips. That's something you're going to have to do anyway to access these fans. So that panel was actually holding heat in, so it did force air up over the coils, but it actually was trapping heat back here inside this compartment, causing the refrigerator to struggle a bit to be able to cool down. After we removed that panel, we could actually turn our refrigerator down from setting 4 to setting 3, and it maintained a lot steadier temperature even while we were in the heat in Florida. That was what we did a year ago to get our refrigerator cooling consistently. Fast forward to about a week ago, we noticed the temperature creeping up on the refrigerator again. So it never would recover overnight like it normally has in the past. So I took the top panel out. Since we have that shroud removed in there, I could see the 4 refrigerator fans that are mounted on the back of the fridge. One of those fans wasn't working. So we hopped on Amazon, ordered a brand new fan. I couldn't find an exact replacement fan that had the same type of plug. So we had to order one that had a little bit different style plug, but it was the same fan with a different style plug. Once that fan showed up, got up there, kind of was looking around to see what was going to be involved in changing this fan out, and discovered that a second fan had quit. So now we had 2 dead fans. So we went ahead and ordered another fan. And what we're going to show you today is how I went about changing those 2 fans up there behind our refrigerator. So the first thing you're going to want to do, go ahead and shut your refrigerator off so those fans don't kick on while you're taking the screws out. It's just 2 screws that hold in each fan. Super simple. All you need is a pair of side cutters and a screwdriver, and you can change these fans out. Alright, so we're going to pull those screws out. They can be pretty tight, so I had to get a bigger screwdriver to get them loosened up. This is just a metal bar that holds these fans in, so it has some movement, it has some flexibility, so you can flex it enough to get a bigger screwdriver in there and break those screws loose, and then you can come back in here with your small screwdriver to get them all the way out. Alright, Alright, so we got those out of the way. Now we're just going to cut these little zip ties gently without cutting any wires. Just like that, fans are out. Alright, so these are the fans that we bought on Amazon. I googled, I actually put this part number into Amazon, and a couple different fan options came up, but none of the options had this style connector on the end of it. So that's what's on the end, that's the style connector. Obviously, that is not the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to clip the wires on the new fan, and we're just going to attach the wires from the old fan. So got some wire connectors. I always carry these around to have them in an emergency. So all we're going to do is clip that little connector off the end. Pull the two apart. So we're going to clip our old one off. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these off a few inches up from the fan. And from there, I mean, it's pretty simple. We're going to put the black wires together. We're going to put the red wires together. Strip that one back. Strip that one back. Now, I guess the 100% appropriate way to do this would be to solder these together and heat shrink them, and you can do that, you know, if you have the time and the ability to do that. I have the ability, I just don't have the time or the resources to do that right now. So we're going to put those together. We're going to use a little tiny wire nut. Just going to wire nut those together. Not a real high draw fan, so you're going to be fine putting these wires together like this and just putting a wire nut on them. You're not going to have any issues. Drop it. So we got those together. We'll put a little electrical tape around there. There's our correct plug on the end. So we'll just tape this bad boy up. Alright. That fan will be ready to go back. These fans are really inexpensive. They were only about 10 bucks a piece, so can't beat that. So at 10 bucks a piece, these fans are so inexpensive, we may go ahead and order the other two and go ahead and replace them. It's super simple. I mean, you can see this is an easy job. But you can see how grungy and dusty and dirty these fans get. You know, they get pretty nasty riding back there. We have a 2019 Grand Design, so you know they've been riding around there for a few years. We've been in some really dusty conditions, so they're pretty dirty. But you can see, I mean, the fans are the same size. I mean, that's the exact same frame fan. And like I said, this number that's on the fans that came in the unit crossed over to these fans, and none of them had this connector. So you're going to have to change that connector out no matter what, as far as I could tell anyway. All right, so now we're going to head over. We're going to take some zip ties so we can put everything back together. Zip tie it out of the way so it's not flopping around, and get these things reinstalled. That's really the hardest part of this whole job. Once you get your new connector put on, you just, the fans screw right back in, the holes all line up. It's super easy to do. So I just reinserted the new fans, turned the refrigerator on to make sure that the fans kicked on and everything was running correctly. And really that's it. Used some zip ties so that we could tie up our wires down there, make sure everything was good to go. There's really not much to it. It's very simple. We're going to leave a link in the description below to the fans that we bought. I don't know, you may be able to find one with an exact plug. There's some more expensive fans on there. That being said, we got them put in. Our refrigerator's back to cooling the way it should. I mean, as good as it can when it's 95 degrees in Florida. I know for us, removing that shroud made a big difference right off the bat. And we've seen on some of the other forums that other people that have done it, seen a big difference too. So there you go. That's our tips for keeping your refrigerator nice and cool. Hope you found this useful. We appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you guys down the road.